Shalom, friends. This week's Torah portion, Va'era, from the book of Exodus, invites us to witness the unfolding story of redemption in the face of unimaginable suffering. It's a story of promises fulfilled, of liberation, and of the hope that begins to pierce the darkness. As we read through these verses, I cannot help but think of the news from Israel this past Sunday, as Doron, Emily, and Romy were brought back to Israel as part of the ceasefire agreement. Having met Doron's mom in Israel only weeks after October 7th, I cannot imagine what she and her family and our Shar HaNegev sister community are feeling in these very moments. In Va'era, God declares to Moses the following: I have heard the groaning of the Israelites, whom the Egyptians are enslaving, and I have remembered my covenant. This divine hearing, this acknowledgement of suffering, sets the stage for the liberation of the Israelites. It's not immediate, and it doesn't erase the pain endured, but it begins the process of redemption. Similarly, as we see hostages reuniting with their families, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the power of hope. Each reunion is a modern-day glimpse of redemption, a fulfillment of the promise that no one will be forgotten. But we also know the story is far from over. Many remain in captivity, and the scars of this trauma will not easily fade. The intersection of this week's Torah portion and current events calls us to hold two truths at once: the joy of reunion and the grief for those still waiting. As Jews, we are no strangers to this tension. We learn from our tradition to cry out like Moses and Aaron, to demand justice, and to be God's partners in bringing about redemption. And so, on this Shabbat, as we light the 4 Shabbat candles in our sanctuary, as we've been doing since October 7th of last year, the additional ones to honor the hostages that still remain, we welcome the peace of the day as we are reminded to also kindle the light of hope. Let us pray for the safe return of every hostage, for the healing of the brokenhearted, and for the courage to support those on the front lines of this struggle for freedom. May this week's Torah portion and its message inspire us to see redemption as a process, one that requires our faith, our resilience, and our action. And may we, like Moses, find the strength to bring hope to those who need it most. Shabbat Shalom.